Tennessee executes man despite heart device concerns. Shocking details revealed. In a shocking turn of events, a Tennessee man was executed despite serious concerns regarding the potential suffering caused by his heart device. Byron Black, who was convicted for the brutal murders of his girlfriend and her 2 young daughters in 1988, faced execution on Tuesday at the Riverbend Maximum Security Institution in Nashville. This decision came after both the U.S. Supreme Court and Tennessee Governor Bill Lee chose not to intervene in the matter, despite ongoing legal disputes about the implications of Black's implantable cardioverter defibrillator, ICD. At 69 years old, Black was declared dead at 10:43 a.m. He did not offer any final words, as reported by Department of Correction Commissioner Frank Strada during a press conference. Media witnesses were allowed into the death chamber at 10:31 a.m. and they later recounted that after the lethal injection drug, pentobarbital, was administered, Black exhibited signs of distress. He was observed breathing heavily and reportedly told his spiritual advisor, "It hurts so bad," to which the advisor expressed sympathy. Witnesses noted a stark contrast between Black's execution and that of Oscar Smith, who was executed in May under similar circumstances. While Smith showed no signs of pain, Black's reactions raised alarms about the execution process. His legs and feet were covered with a blanket, and his hands were secured with brown tape, leading some witnesses to believe he would not be able to react if he experienced physical pain. Kelly Henry, one of Black's attorneys, stated that it remains uncertain whether Black's discomfort stemmed from the effects of the pentobarbital or his defibrillator. She indicated that a thorough review of the device and an autopsy would be conducted, asserting, "I interpret that my client was tortured today." Black's legal team had previously petitioned the Supreme Court to halt the execution, arguing that he was mentally incompetent and that executing him would violate his constitutional rights. They also contended that proceeding with the execution without deactivating his ICD would contravene the Eighth Amendment's prohibition against cruel and unusual punishment. However, the Supreme Court denied these requests, and Governor Lee confirmed he would not intervene, stating that the courts had determined it was lawful to carry out the execution for the heinous crimes committed against Angela Clay and her daughters, Lakeisha and Latoya. In a prior ruling, the Davidson County Chancery Court had sided with Black, ordering that his ICD be disabled before the execution. His lawyers argued that the device, which delivers electric shocks to correct dangerously fast heartbeats, could cause him severe pain during the execution. However, the Tennessee Supreme Court later overturned this ruling, asserting that the lower court lacked the authority to halt the execution. Despite this, the justices noted that there was nothing preventing the state and Black's lawyers from coordinating a plan to deactivate the ICD. State Attorney General Jonathan Skrmetti expressed his commitment to moving forward with the execution, disputing claims that Black was intellectually disabled or would suffer significantly during the process. He emphasized the need for justice for the Clay family and accountability for Black's actions. At the time of the murders, Black was on work release for a previous conviction involving the shooting of Clay's estranged husband. Angela Clay's sister reported that Black had threatened her sister over her intentions to end their relationship. Benny Clay, Angela's husband, shared that he had forgiven Black and planned to witness the execution, stating, "God has a plan for everything." Following the execution, family members of Angela Clay expressed relief, feeling that justice had been served. Lynette Bell, Angela's sister, remarked, "I thank God for making this happen," reflecting on the pain they endured for decades without an apology from Black. Black's execution was the 28th in the United States in 2025, a number not seen since 2015. Although the overall trend in executions has been declining due to challenges in obtaining lethal injection drugs, Tennessee had paused executions during the COVID-19 pandemic and resumed them in May under a new protocol using pentobarbital. In court testimonies, medical experts debated whether Black's ICD would indeed cause him prolonged suffering. While one expert claimed he would not feel the shocks due to the coma induced by the lethal injection, another warned that the drug could inadvertently trigger the defibrillator, leading to unnecessary pain. The ethical implications of disabling Black's defibrillator raised questions about the willingness of medical professionals to assist in such procedures, as major medical organizations generally oppose participation in executions. Advocates for Black argued that his unique medical circumstances and documented mental impairments warranted clemency from the governor. Black, who was wheelchair-bound and suffered from multiple health issues, including dementia and cancer, chose not to make a final statement, citing shyness. However, he left a heartfelt message for his loved ones, expressing love and gratitude for their connections. The manner in which Black reacted during the execution suggests that the process did not unfold as intended, raising further concerns about the use of pentobarbital. The Department of Correction has yet to comment on the observations made during the execution. As the debate over the death penalty continues, Black's case highlights the complexities and ethical dilemmas surrounding capital punishment, particularly in light of medical considerations and mental health issues. What are your thoughts on the implications of executing individuals with medical devices? Should the state take more precautions to ensure humane treatment? Share your opinions in the comments.